Hello, this is Susan Poss at Spartanburg Community College, and I'm working with you today some word problems that involve systems of equations. And these systems require two variables and two equations. So I've got a couple of problems here that have to deal with coins. These are sort of typical problems as you first start to learn about solving systems of equations. So I'm going to look at this first one. Connor has a total of 27 coins, and there are two types of coins in there, quarters and dimes. So these are going to be my two variables here. Sometimes you'll see these worked with quarters, dimes, and nickels, and then it becomes a more complicated system because it would have three variables in it, and you'll learn that later in your math coursework. So Connor has a total of 27 coins, consisting of quarters and dimes. So that is going to be my first little equation right there. And this part out here, quarters and dimes, is going to help me identify what I'm working with. The total value of the coin, so this is going to be my second equation. Total value of the coins is $5.40. And remember, I said to get started, sometimes I go to the very end and look at the question, how many of each type of coin does he have? So that helps me identify my variables. So let me start with, I think I'm going to go with letters that are actually associated with quarters and dimes. I'm going to let the letter Q represent the number of quarters. And I'm going to let the letter D represent the number of dimes. And I can pretty easily get my first equation. Connor has a total of 27 coins. So I know that the number of quarters added to the number of dimes has to total up to 27. So I notice that this first equation is something about the number of coins. And the second equation is going to have to do with the money. So each of those quarters is worth 25 cents. And of course, I'm going to put this in decimal notation. And each of those dimes is worth 10 cents. And from here, in the highlighted in green, the total value, so here's the money amount, is $5.40. So this second equation has to do with money. And sometimes that's a good way to help you get organized. One equation deals with one type of unit and the other equation deals with a different type of unit. I think on this one I'm going to use the substitution technique. So I would like to take equation number 1, and I think I'll solve it for D. Doesn't really matter which one you choose to solve it for. Just be careful as you work with the variables. So I'm going to take the first equation and solve it for D. Come into the second equation. And remove the letter D and replace it with this value for D that comes out of equation number 1. And now you can see, instead of having two variables, you've got an equation that only contains the letter Q. So we're going to solve for Q. And I'm distributing here over the parentheses. And when I multiply 27 times 0.10, I'm going to get 2.7. And I'm noticing here that these two values of Q, I'm going to subtract 0.25, subtract 0.10, and that's going to give me 0.15. And I'm subtracting 2.7 from both sides, and then dividing by .15. And I'm going to get 18. So the number of quarters is 18. And you can run back up here and see that. You've got it labeled, but because we chose letters that are sort of connected to the problem, I think that makes it a little bit easier to follow. And then I'm going to go back and back substitute. So equation number 1 says the number of quarters plus the number of dimes is equal to 27. So if I put the 18 in here, now of course I hope you can see, I'm running out of space here, that the number of dimes is 9. So these represent the number of coins, 18 quarters, and 9 dimes. And of course you can run back in here and multiply these 9 dimes times 10 cents each and these 18 quarters by 25 cents each, and it should add back up to this $5.40.